Welcome to Doug Does Stuff. I'm Doug, and welcome to the corner of my basement. I don't have a studio, so in my workshop, the rest of it behind you is a mess, so this is where we're at. We're down here with my Anycubic Kobra 3v2 and my Anycubic Kobra S1. They are both combo units. This is not the first time I've tried to record this video, so throughout this video, you're going to see me in different clothes. It's just I'm just trying to weave it all together to get this out. And I am calling this my ultimate guide to the Kobra S1, because that's what we're talking about today. It might even be the definitive guide, especially for the new people to the Kobra S1. My video is long, like most of my videos, so if you need to, go ahead and jump around. I've chapterized it the best I could. Yeah, if you could watch the whole thing, that would be awesome. I would appreciate it. The YouTube algorithm would appreciate it. It would help the channel immensely. Hey, speaking of the channel, if you are new here, thanks for being here. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, maybe even leave a comment. If it's not the first time here and you're a return viewer, I really appreciate that. I do. I mean, for you to take the time out of your day to not just watch one of my videos, but to watch several, that's pretty cool. So, thank you, especially with Thanksgiving. Thank you, and I hope you all have a good Thanksgiving. All right, so what else? Why? I got a cheat sheet here. I'm trying to stay on task. Why the Kobra S1? Why are we talking about the Kobra S1 when I've made already a bunch of videos? Well, it's a solid printer. It really is. You know, it does the job. Is it the greatest printer out there? I can't say it's the greatest. Is it the worst? Absolutely not. I mean, you're talking about a 250 build volume. You're talking enclosure, Core XY. It's fast, you know, especially if you're coming from an older, like Ender style printer. It's not a heated chamber, but, you know, if you heat it up, it'll do okay. It does ABS. It has active filtration. There's a little filter in the back. It's got the 4-color combo. You can go up to 8 colors by combining 2 of them. Listen, it's a solid printer. It's got issues. All printers have issues. Come on. Bamboo, Cheaty, Creality, FlashForge, some of the other, I'm forgetting the other ones. They're all going to have issues. See? Look at these pictures. And it's no different. It's going to have its issues. But with Black Friday around the corner, with Cyber Monday around the corner, with the holidays around the corner, oh, and the Kobra S1 Max, just on founder price sale right now. Hey, if you're getting one, leave a comment in the comment section where comments go. Let me know if you're getting one, kind of like somebody else. All right. So with all of that, this printer is at an all-time low, at least not on AliExpress, but all-time low that I've seen, $429. For $429, you're getting a very capable printer. Colors, I mean, it can do ASA, ABS, PLA, PETG, does all that. So it's a capable printer. That price is going to bring a lot of people in, which means there's going to be a lot of people coming to our Facebook groups and Reddits and saying, hey, why is my printer having problems? Why does it look like this? Why is there a blob? Why is this? Why is that? They're not coming to say, why is this a great printer? They're coming to ask questions, and maybe you direct them here, the ultimate guide to the Kobra S1. I would also appreciate that. All right, so what are we going to do today in the video? In the video today, we are going to be looking at the Kobra S1 and its issues and how to solve those issues, right? We're going to be looking at the Hotend. We're going to be looking at the Ace Pro a little bit, the poop chute. We're going to talk about maintenance. We're going to talk about taking it to the next level. And we're going to talk about invalidating our warranty by doing some of this stuff, right? The biggest thing we're going to talk about, and I think the biggest problem with the Kobra S1 is the bed. The bed in the Kobra S1 is an absolute disaster. I don't care what the fanboys say. It is a disaster. It is warped. It's like a taco. It's like a relief map. You can insert whatever you want. That's this bed. And that's problematic for people who print big models and want a good first layer, because the printer, the bed mesh is, mine started at like 1 something. It's been in the 0.6, 0.8. we're talking like 1.0. Let's just use 1.0 as a nice round number. That means at your standard layer height of 0.2, that's 5 layers. If you have a deviation of 5 layers from one point of the bed to the other, you're asking the printer to level 5 layers difference over the course of your print. I know it's got an automatic bed leveling system. It can't do it. You're wrong. I don't care what you say. There is no way this printer is going to reliably, or any printer, not just this one, reliably make up for a 5-layer, a 4-layer difference over the course of the print. You're going to see issues on the outside like scarring, ripples in the top. It's just not going to work. And that's what we're dealing with here. Because of the choice of material that Anycubic went with to make the bed, when it heats up, it just warps. And we're going to talk about that today. We're going to talk about how to work on your stock plate to make it hopefully less warped. We're going to talk about what else? Oh yeah, this is the last video where I mess with the stock plate because of fun sore. Yeah, I'm excited about that one, so stay tuned. But with all these people coming in, anybody who doesn't want to drop an additional $200+ on the fun sore setup, this is how you modify your stock bed to get it to something more reasonable. All right. With all of that said, let's get this printer out of here. Let's get it over on a table or a desk that we can look at these things more closely and get you started on getting your Kobra S1 ready to be as reliable as possible in its stock configuration. Let's go. All right, here we go. Let's talk about the assembly over here and what you should look at really before you do any printing. First thing you're going to want to do is take off the cover. There's 4 screws on the side. I leave mine off because it snaps in just fine without it. And if there ever is a blob, it just pushes it off. So take those out. Just give it a little tug, pull it off. There's a little connector here. You don't want this to hang and dangle, so just disconnect that. All right, so what you're looking at right here, let me zoom you in now that we've got that off, is you want to focus looking, here's your extruder, here's your filament cutter. Looking right here, this is our nozzle, and this is how our nozzle is put in there. So you want to make sure that this is in the down position. Get you a little bit lower here. You want to make sure this is in the down position and that your nozzle doesn't move up and down. To take out your nozzle, you're going to move that in the up position. The nozzle will just fall out. Now, if you go to put in a nozzle and you don't get it all the way up, you can still engage that. And what's going to happen is it's going to feel tight, but it's not going to set in there because you're trying to catch those little grooves up down there. So make sure it's all the way up before you do it. Push it down. Get it in there. Make sure it's got no movement, and you should be good. This is super important because if you don't get this set correctly, you're going to have a leak coming down out of there, and it's going to cause a big blob. So make sure that is set correctly, pushed up inside, and you should be good to go. Now the nozzle, I don't use the stock nozzle. I've had 3 stock nozzles and 3 of them have failed. They've all leaked in some fashion. Make sure you have an extra nozzle. I use the aftermarket ones. I've had nothing but success with it. I use the the hardened steel nozzle. You can look up the differences between hardened steel, brass, stainless. You choose what you need, but there's a bunch of different ones out there. So have a couple on hand just in case. All right, so you got that all apart. You're good to go. This is, like I said, this is the extruder up here. A couple things I want to show you on the extruder. I'm going to have to take you off here to show you. So over here on your extruder, like I said, the filament cutter's down there. Here's your extruder. If you ever need to take this apart, this is a pain to get off. You take out the blue clip, you press down that black thing, and you pull this out. Mine didn't come out very easily. You can see it's a little bit stretched right there. I ended up having to take off this cover to get it out, especially if you have a clog in there. And just be careful when you take this off, because there's a little spring and flap that will go flying and you need to put them back. Be careful. Be careful. Right here, this is to relieve tension so you can push and pull the filament out. There's also a tension screw. Where's my finger? Right there. That tension screw, that's your extruder tension. You tighten that or you loosen that to make sure that it's gripping onto your filament. Where are you? It's gripping onto your filament hard enough to push it out, and not loose enough that it's not pushing and not tight enough that it's grinding. So that's pretty important. You want to make sure that is set correctly. That right there. Let's talk about the bed, or the build plate. The build plate it comes with is a double-sided PEI spring steel. All right, you print, you can pop it off if you just take things and you do that. Mine's a little discolored because I had to use something called Magic Glue for one of my prints, but this is not the only way you can go. You can go, if you don't want to use a heated plate, with something like a cold plate. And a cold plate, all that means is that you're not heating up the bed. And anytime you don't heat up the bed on this, the better. It doesn't warp as much. I have a Glacier and I have a Frostbite. They're different. This is smoother. This has more texture. I use them for different things. This works fine. You just put it in, center it on the back pins, pop it down, you're good to go. Cleaning this is super important. You don't want to be doing what I'm doing right here. You don't want oils all over your build plate. Best way to clean this, really hot, soapy water. I think Dawn works best, Dawn dish soap. Wash it, try not to touch it after you wash it. Bring it down, put it on the printer. Heat up your printer to something that you're going to use, like 60 degrees, and then put a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. This is 94% or 91% isopropyl alcohol. Put it on a rag, give it a wipe down while it's hot, and then don't touch it, and you should be good to go for a while. If you're experiencing prints coming off, not sticking, it's a good place to start. Wash it, clean it, put it back on, good to go. All right, so that's the bed. Let's go. Other than that, I think we're good to go on to the Ace Pro. Okay, let's talk about the Ace Pro quickly here. Ace Pro, people have had problems with it. I generally haven't had an issue. The Kobra S1 comes with this. I don't know if you can see it with the light. This little divider in here that goes over the top of the rolls actually fits in there. How to put a roll in? Well, you are going to put it right here. Let me get one. All right, so we got our roll. You're going to want to put it so that the edge sits in between these two. Sits right in there, just like that. Make sure it's in there. Make sure it moves freely. Easy peasy. Filament comes off the top and down into whatever one you're working on. Make sure your filament is straight up and down. The only issue I've ever had is if it's got a little bit of a curl, sometimes, especially on number 3 for whatever reason, it will go in and then it will come out the backside and just wrap around your Ace Pro continuously. If you see that happening, either just cut it so that it feeds it out, wait for it to finish and pull it back out this way. Up to you how you want to deal with it. I always now just watch the first, I just watch this one because I don't want it to happen. All right, inside the Ace Pro, if you ever need to take it apart, there's a screw there, pop off this cover, and you can look in here for any jammed filament. Next. Here, this is a dryer, right? But it's got nowhere to dissipate the humidity. So this is actually, you can put desiccant in here to absorb that. You just pop off, I can't do it with one hand. You pop this off, pour in desiccant, and it will absorb the humidity from the rolls as it's drying. There are prints that makes it easier. That's up to you. There are some mods for the Ace Pro to make this less tangle. Go on Maker Online. It will have all of this. Let's get to the back side of the print of the Ace Pro. All right, here on the back side of the Ace Pro, from the printer, it goes into here. This is for a second filament hub if you have it. All right. Over here are your buffers. You want to make sure you have them in correctly. As you can see, maybe not. There you go. As you can see, mine are incorrectly. I have my little blue tabs pointing off to the side. If you have them pointing up, they catch up here and it doesn't fully go in. Check that. So make just sure each one comes in and out. After you put in your PTFE tubes, make sure the blue tabs are correct and you should be good to go. Other than that, I haven't had too many problems with my Ace Pro. I know some people have. If you have, I'm sorry. Yeah, all right, let's go on to the next thing. All right, so the next thing we are going to do is we're going to deal with the bed and trying to level it. So let's go ahead and invalidate our warranty and talk about that. So off to Doug from a different day. The biggest issue, and the reason that a lot of people are going to be here, is because of this assembly right here. This right here is the build plate assembly, and that's where our issue is for the most part. Let me just put this back together because I have another one right here. All right, so here on the build plate assembly, it's made up of a few pieces. Underneath here, you have a stamped metal sheet. That's the metal carriage, and that carries the whole assembly on the 3 rails, the 2 in the front and the 1 in the back. And because it's such thin metal, it warps. And this is where the whole idea of a budget printer, when I think budget, I think, you have things like plastic covers, plastic outside, a little less high trim features, maybe you have some older technology, but also here is where you get hit. And this is what we're seeing with the Kobra S1, in my opinion, is because they chose some cheaper options in the way of this assembly. The bed is literally, it's a taco at times. It's like a relief map of the Grand Canyon. Here we go. So after that metal carriage underneath there, you have take this apart for you so you can see, you have the plastic carrier, and this is what carries your heated bed, and then your build plate goes on top of that. But as you can see, this thing twists and bends, so it's not firm enough to hold the bed in place and give you a nice level. So that is an issue. What's interesting though is something that we're going to tackle. The bed only has 4 screws in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, but if you're looking at this, there's enough for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws on the outside, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 screws, and we can use that to hopefully level our plate. So anyway, so that's that. So on top of this comes the heated plate, and this is where we're seeing a lot of problems. You can see, I think that's 3 millimeters thick, and when this thing heats up, it literally just bends, and it'll give you a mesh range that is way too big for the printer to overcome, in my opinion. I mean, we're talking about, put this right here, we're talking about bed mesh of like a 1.0 variance from some places. That means it's like 1.0 difference from the low to the high. And I know people are gonna be like, Doug, that's what the automated bed level's for. Well, you know what? The automated bed level is not gonna take care of 1.0. On these old bad boys back here, my old Enders, I'm rocking like 0.04 maximum difference across the whole plate. Dude, don't do that. Rocking like 0.04 deviation across the whole plate. That's not even a layer, right? Because a layer is 0.2 typically. So that's great. But over here, we're talking like 1.0, 1.2, 0.6, 0.8. And what that means is, if you don't know, if a layer is here and you have a 1.0 deviation, you're 5 layers up, but you want that to be in the same line. So the printer has to guess how to get from the low, print a line up, and it's going to do that over enough lines that it's going to try and level it out. It can't level 1 millimeter. It can't level 0.6 without seeing scarring or other stuff showing up on your print. If you're trying to get a good first layer, it's trying to do this over the whole plate because it's guessing. It takes 5 points of reference and then it tries to guess how it's going to move it. So the flatter you can make your bed, the better off you are, and you give the printer a better chance to give you a nice glass-like layer. So, okay, so with all that said, talked about the printer, the good, the bad, and really that's the bad is the first layer. We're going to try and tackle that. As you can see in my last video, and I haven't taken it out yet, I still have my plate that I modified. We're going to try and do a few more modifications on it, but I wanted to show you right here on the screen. You're going to see a normal bed level, just like hit the bed routine, and you're going to see heat soak bed, and then you're going to see a cold level and a cold soak. And you see the difference there, what it does. We're going to go ahead and now I'm going to put this in, which is the stock one with no modifications, and we're going to run a bed level and I'll show you how bad it is, and then from there we're going to modify. So that's what we got. Stick around. You don't need to see me putting in the new bed plate because you can watch a bunch of other videos on that. So let me get it in here. Let me get it hooked up. So we are going to now try and level the stock bed so we don't have to buy anything, like in the way of the FunSore bed, you know, which is going to run somebody $200+ if they wanted to do that. So what I have come up with is a few washers, and that's what I'm going to print right now in TPU. There are these things, a little closer picture, and there's also little round washers that go into those holes inside underneath the heated plate. So we're going to get this going. It's actually going to take like 3 hours. I would say that before you take anything apart, if you have the ability to print some TPU, go ahead and print these. At least you'll have them. If you can't, you don't have the way to do it because you already took it apart or it's really that bad, reach out to me at dougdoesstuff24@gmail.com. Yep. And, you know, for the cost of shipping and, you know, $1 or so for spacers and electricity, I'll send you some. So cool. We're going to let this thing go and we'll be back when it's done. All right. So it looks like our TPU print just finished here, and took us about 3 hours to do this. Bring it up closer here for the screen. You know, a little bit of stringing, whatever. It is what it is. Anyway, so we have corner spacers and then the circles that are on the inside of the bed. And we have some just standard ones just for the sides and some shorter ones as well. So our next step now that these are printed off is, let's see if we can get these off of here. Back away. Oh, look at that. Oh, there we go. And they're just, you know, nice and flexible. They have a little bit of goo. I'm going to clean these up a little bit just so I don't have any inconsistencies in the bed. Get all those off the plate. We're going to take the bed out and we're going to do the next step here in this definitive guide to making your Kobra S1 stock bed level. Cool. All right, so here we go. We are about to void our warranty if you still have it or if you haven't voided it yet. We are going to take our stock bed, which is this here, and we are going to modify it. Now, I want to show you something. Well, first thing you have to do is, once you've disconnected your bed from the printer, there's a couple places you have to take out the ground screw and then the two wires over here. They're underneath a little cover. Just use a 2.0 Allen wrench to take that out and take out the 3 bolts here that hold it to the metal carriage. Once you do that, it comes out and you have your plastic carrier and then your metal plate. Now, I want to show you something here on the plastic carrier. I pointed it out before. This is the back of the bed over here, and this is the front of the bed. just for reference. Now, look, you have all of these standoffs all the way around. But on the bed, the heated plate rather, there's only 4 holes. Well, when you flip it over, look at that. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You have 8 more holes in the heated plate that actually match up perfectly with these on the outside. So not the 2 in the middle, which is unfortunate because we could really use those, but it is what it is. But so what we're going to do is we're going to take the drill here and we are going to open up the holes so that we can put in a bolt through it. Now, if you take your finger and you run it over, you'll be able to find where they are and kind of like make a little bit of an indent so you have a starting spot. So like right back here is our first. Let me just push that down there. I don't know if you can catch that on camera or not, but just by pushing down, you can see the divot and it gives you an idea of where you're going to want to drill. And you can do that for all of them. So a 1/4 inch and a 1/8 bit is what you're going to need. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to drill from the back side, all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 holes. So let's do that. Get this out of my way. All right, here we go. Let's do this. I'm just going to hold it off just so I don't drill into the desk. And just nice and slow, moderate pressure. And you're going to see that you're going to come through on the other side. And we're just going to go around and do all of them that way. All right, so now we have all of the holes drilled out. Now, you got to go one step further. You got to use the bigger drill bit. And here's where, the first time I did this, I was a little bit nervous. But not now, because these are actually countersunk already. So you're just going to go really slow, find where the hole was. All right, if you're worried, just kind of go slow. You'll feel it pop through. And it's that simple. Do that for each one. Boom, felt it go through. And listen, if you're nervous about doing this, don't do it. Live with the bed the way it is. All right, next step is to clean this mess up. I'm gonna get a razor blade and take care of this. All right, so with a nice sharp razor blade, you wanna come through and you just wanna take off any plate that is still there that may throw off your bed level. Take your time, go slow. I mean, if you're in a rush, don't do it, right? Because it's easy. See, look at that. I just nicked the bed a little bit where I didn't want to. And if your razor blade is not cutting, like mine is not, you might want to break off one of the things and one of the blades and just make sure that it's sharp. Okay, look at that. A sharp one takes off those bumps nice and easy. That's what I should have done on that one. Perfect. All right, so now that is done. So now we're just gonna go to the next step here, and the next step is gonna be putting the washers, those are these things, or the spacers, whatever you want to call them, all the way around the bed. Now I printed these at a 2.8, get that out of there, 2.8 millimeter height. That actually puts it just above these little standoffs, just to give me a little bit more height and ability to squish the bed as I go to the next step. So I'm actually just gonna work my way around the bed. Now you could, if you really wanted to, you could print ones of different height to offset the bed. So like if you knew these corners were down 0.4 from here, you can make these, you know, that much higher to bring that up to try and start leveling it. And then you're working on leveling the heated plate at that point. You're not leveling the carriage or the plastic carrier here. So, ruh-roh, Doug, you didn't print enough. Or they got lost. You know what it is? I didn't print ones for the middle. Make sure you print enough. Print extras, so you're not doing what I'm doing. There we go. All right, so I didn't print any in the middle. You know, oh well, it is what it is. We got these, and we got these. Now for these just sit in the edges here, and if you got some goobers on there, take your blowtorch and torch them off. I'm going to put it so that the bed plate side is down, is up rather, is showing, rather than the top layer. Can't have that goober on there, it's going to mess stuff up. All right, come on, get off there. All right. And you can see how this is just going to line the outside. Should have cleaned that up earlier, but I didn't. There we go. There we go. Now this corner, because you have the ground screw, you need this piece here. And it's got to go this way. There's no other choice, but it is what it is. And there's also a small piece for right. Nope, I lied. There isn't a small piece. Now, if you wanted, you could do the half corners. But I think we're good. Take a look here really quick. Make sure you guide that in there. Come on. You don't want to pinch your wire. You're going to have to see that, you're going to notice that now you now have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then all of these places to start adjusting the bed. The only thing to really notice is when you do this, you raise it up from the backside. So there's those aligning pins, they don't work anymore. You just go over the top of it. Go to the next step. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some M3 screws. I'm just going to use some longer ones. And just to show you so my fingers aren't in the way, we are going to thread them into all 8 of these outside holes. I did have 2 more washers. They were just stuck somewhere else. So I got those in there as well. So all we're going to do is we are going to slowly turn it into thread it ahead of time. And I'm going to go down as far as it wants and then back it out. And I'm going to do this all the way around the outside, trying to keep it upright, straight up and down. And that's that. All right, so we have pre-screwed in all of the outside ones. I'm going to use, yay, magnetism, 8mm screws to hold my plate down. Now, as I said before, make sure you get that wire set in there so that you don't pinch it. Feed it out as you put the plate on. And once you got it, there's something wrong here. What's going on? Ah, look at that. Somehow that popped off. Get on there. There we go. I did it again. Son of a gun. All right, I gotta move it over here so I can see what I'm doing. Get that in there. There we go. We don't want that pinched. All right, so now we have our plate on there. It's got a little bit of a wobble. I wonder why. Let's make sure it's not this wire. It's not. So I don't like that, so I'm going to have to take it off and check just to make sure nothing moved, and it moved again. Wow, that thing's really being a pain right there in the corner. All right, nothing else has moved. There we go. Look at that. Now we're good. All right, next step, start putting in all these. So I'm gonna go just start somewhere and get them in. Ooh, I might need shorter because I don't want to break the plastic. But that is not even bottomed out yet. Let's see here. Well, I take that back. That bottomed out. All right, let's just go in a pattern here. Crisscross all the way from one side to the other. And we are going to screw our bed down so that we can hopefully have something that's a little bit level. And those are sitting just underneath the magnetic bed where we want them. Cool. All right, so our bed is now put back together. My only concern might be this one in the back here. It looks like it comes through, and that's one of the mounting points for the carriage, but when we get there, we'll figure it out. Other than that, I got the spacers in there, and I got the screws in there. So now let's put it back together and see what it looks like. I am going to add this. This is I call it a stiffener. It is adjustable, and it goes across the back of the bed underneath the carriage where there's only one mounting point, and it just puts a little more pressure on the outside to pick up that edge of the bed. So I'm going to put it in there because I'll be in there, and then I can adjust it as needed here and here. Cool. You don't need me to watch that, so let me get that done and I'll bring you back. All right, so I know somebody's going to ask about this. What size are these? So these are I have put in threaded inserts into these here in those 4 places. These are hold on. There we go. These are M4 screws, the ones that in the picture. M4 16 is the smaller one. M4 25, actually. I'm using M4 25 for both of them. And all it does is it's going to go in this way. And these two, this and this is going to fit up in the corners. And then you're just going to screw down from the top into the threaded nut. And that's that. And I need this here, because you got to get through the plate first. All right, so our bed screws are tight. Everything is tight. These are pushed up. All right. All right, here we are at my computer, and yes, I know I've seen the messages in the comments that I could use OBS to record my screen rather than doing it this way, but this computer, at least not the screen, but the computer running it, is 13 years old, and I think OBS would kill it. Don't have the funds for a new one, so we're doing it this way. Let's get going. All right, the next part of this video, if we haven't already invalidated our warranty, we are about to invalidate it right now because Anycubic has said so much in emails to customers. We are going to install Rinkhals. That's how I see the bed mesh. That's how we do a little next level stuff on our printer. So in order to do that, you're going to need a USB. I'm using, what am I using? An 8 gig SD card and a little reader. And I've been using this and it works. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go ahead and get that into your printer, or you can also use a USB drive, whatever you feel like. All right, so once you have that USB drive in, you're going to want to format it. So right click, format, and I'm just going to keep it FAT32, call it whatever you want, quick format, hit OK. While that's doing its thing, let's come over, it's done. Sweet. All right, over here in Rinkhals, you're going to go to the GitHub, just Google Rinkhals. All right, so here we are at the Rinkhals page now that we have formatted our USB or our SD card. Over here on the Rinkhals page, you're going to want to go ahead and scroll down. It's going to tell you what it supports. Listen, if you're not on 2564, to me, it's been the most stable. You do you, but I think 2564 is the way to go right now. I anticipate a new firmware in the next couple of days because they just released one for the Kobra 3 V2. But 2564, I think, is the way to go. All right, you're going to scroll down. You're going to come down here to a quick start guide, and it's going to walk you through. It's going to say go to the release page. Before we go there, though, we want to read for all Kobra 3 printers, and that's going to be the S1. You're going to create that directory, open it up. You're going to want to make a new folder, and you want to call that folder that. All right, from here, we're going to go over to the Rinkhals releases, and you're going to download the one you want. They just released the test one 2 days ago, so let's go with that. To do that, you click on here, scroll down, and you want to find the one for your printer. So I need the Kobra S1 installer. So we take that. And now you're going to copy this into that folder. Open this up. And you're going to take this and you're just going to copy it in. And you're going to rename it to update.swu. And that's that. After that, let's eject and bring it over to the printer. Let's go. All right, so we have our Kobra S1 turned on. We're connected. What we're going to do is we're just going to come over here. We're going to take our thumb drive or SD card. We're going to insert it and just wait. Doing this live. Just wait. It's going to go here in a second. There it goes. All right, hit continue. Everything is awesome, great. Oh, all right, so you come into here, you hit manage, you hit the latest, you hit download. Then you click install, and there it goes. Takes a minute here. Watch this. Come on. We're not going to touch it. We're just going to let it go. Oh. There goes that little wrinkle Cobra across the screen, finishing up. Maybe. Cool. All right, making some noises. I take that to be good. Again, we're not going to touch it. It's going to reboot on its own. Leaving that in for now. Don't touch it. Just let it be. Be like Elsa and let it go. Let it go. All right, come on. There you go. Now you're in. Pull out the USB. You can go down here, and if you come over to General, you should see Wrinkles. And if you click it, it'll take you in. Now at this point, you've got Wrinkles installed. Congratulations. That was the hard part. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go look at it on the computer. Okay, over here back at the computer, all you got to do is you type in the address it's going to. You can find that on your printer, and you're in. That simple. Over here, you can see your height map. If you click on that, come on. There it goes. Oh, you know what? I don't have one done, so I need to do a height map. To do that, you can hit the home button and then calibrate. You can run it from the printer. So here, watch. If we hit the home button, make sure there's nothing on the build plate, and there isn't. Nope, there isn't. So we're going to hit home. See you moving over there? And it's going to move up. And so when that's done, go to the next step. I don't know about you guys, but my Z is very loud. All right, it is homed, and now all you do is hit calibrate, and you wait. It's going to heat up the bed, and it's going to go through it. So let me hit pause until that's done. All right, so once the routine is done, you hit reload. I hit F5, and there you go. You can see our bed is currently a disaster. Now, I'm actually not going to touch it. Why is it so far off? 0.511. I think if I let it keep heating, so to do that, come back to dashboard, change our temp here. Let's change it to 60. Let's let it run for, I don't know, 10 minutes and redo the bed level and see what happens. Because this bed was level. Maybe all the moving around I did has messed it up. All right, so what I want to show you is, I'm going to calibrate this first. This has been heated up to 60 degrees for a little bit. I'm going to run a bed mesh here and see how it comes back. I haven't done anything at all to it to see if this 0.5 is going to get any better or worse. So let's see what happens. All right, so the printer just finished. I'm gonna change this mesh so it looks ugly here. Looks, excessive. Let's hit the refresh button and see if it changed at all at 60 degrees. And look at that, it did. It came down to 0.375, which is a whole layer, honestly, better. And I think the more we let it sit, the more it will even out at temperature. All right, so now that you have Wrinkles installed, that was the most basic use of it, and really it's just something that should have been included in the original Anycubic release was being able to see your height map. It is what it is. I mean, you can play with it, try to get an idea. But what I want to show you is, if you look at this, your front corner, front left is here, and here's that 5 by 5 right here, size 5 by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the 5 probing points that it does. Later in the next part of the video, I'm going to show you how to change this to something greater to give you more points here, because what's happening is the printer's guessing from here to here how to get there. And if the bed isn't maybe perfect in here, it's not going to know that because it's guessing to go from this point to this point. To make it worse, it's trying to, and this is why you get bad prints, to go from here to here, right? And with that in the middle, it's guessing how to go from here to here and from here to here to eventually make it all level across. And that, my friends, is a problem. So the more we increase our sample size of the bed, the better off we will be for figuring out, you know, how to make this printer run better. And then we're going to do some other tweaks as well. That's enough of that. Let's get moving on to the next thing here. Let's look at what can we do to change this 5.5. Well, the first thing I want to do is make sure that this heater stays at 60. So let's put that back in there while that's warming up. You're going to come down here to where you see machine, and you're going to look for something called printer.custom.cfg. You want to click on that. Now in here is where you add custom things. So what we're going to add to change our bed mesh, the first thing we're going to change here of a few things, and this is more advanced level, is we're going to add bed mesh, probe count, and what we want the probe count on. I'm going to go up to 99, be a little bit aggressive. It takes forever to do this, but whatever. Come over here, hit save and restart, wait for the printer to restart, and then we're going to run another bed mesh. All right, so now the printer has restarted. It's at 60 degrees, and we're just going to run that bed mesh one more time. So again, you're going to hit home, and then you're going to hit calibrate, and I'll be back here in a second. So the 9x9 is just finishing up. Listen, that takes a long time to do. So I would only really do it if you really need that level. Now I've gone ahead, here's the bed level before. You can see it's still on 5.5. I've exaggerated the 0.3 difference here just so we can see what changes. We're going to go ahead, we're going to hit refresh, and let's see, after heating up for a while, it gives you even more input on where the issues are. So let's just smooth this out a little bit. I'm currently at a 0.4 with this bed, so it looks like this bed's going to need some tweaking. You know, I've been moving it around with doing all this videoing, so that's entirely possible. But anyway, we can see that my outside corners are high. It looks like right where the screw holes are, and then that back corner. But for the most part, the bed is pretty level. Now, you could do this. Here's a little trick for you, a little quick tip. If you hover over the location where it is, and if you're not sure, maybe you want to look at the build plate and see if there's something on it. Like I could say, all right, right here is 6535. Right, so if I come over here and I put into my coordinates 65, that's going to move. Get back over there. You got to actually hit enter. 65, enter. 35, enter. Now, if you watch, there it goes. It's going to move right there. Now I can go over to the printer and see where that is. Right, where that location is. I could see is that over a screw, and maybe I need to back a screw out. If I needed to come over here, 125, 155, same thing on this quick tip. 125, enter. 155, enter. There it goes, and it's going to show me, not show me, but if I go look at the printer, I'll see where it is, and maybe there's something there. Maybe there's, I don't know, maybe there's a screw there, maybe there isn't. Maybe you're at the point of you can't get your height map any better and you want to fix it, take some painter's tape, move the extruder head to that location, and then put a little piece of tape there to build it up. And maybe you just build up that little bit and see if you can get it to be better. So all little quick tips here in Rinkhals to making it useful. All right, so that's that. Keeping it basic here in the printer custom CFG. You could change this to 7.7, it would go quicker. But then again, when you're in there, what that means is that it's guessing from here to here. Like think about it before, our 5 was over here, like our first point, our second point, third, fourth, fifth point, and it had a guess. Now we can see that, oh my God, if my first point was low and maybe my second point was here, this printer knows it's got to go up sharply, even out, rather than doing this kind of line up to that. And that is why having a better bed mesh is great and a bigger bed mesh is great. So, all right, so that's that. Let's go on to the next thing. All right, so now that we have all of that done and out of the way, we're going to move on to the next part of this video, which is a bunch of quick tips. So here's some quick tips for your S1. All right, we're going to talk quickly just to show you how to do a cold pull on your nozzle. If your nozzle looks like it's clogged, maybe it's not extruding the right way and you want to pull out the filament that's in there and try and pull out any contaminants. That's what a cold pull is, and you're going to do it at a low temperature so that the filament isn't pushing through. You're trying to pull it out. So to do that, you're going to come up to your settings and you're going to set your nozzle temp to 80 degrees. And now we're going to wait for about a couple minutes to make sure everything just softens enough and all of that. You are going to need to take your nozzle out. So lift up on your nozzle thing there, pull it out, and you should have whatever filament you have left. I have black still hanging in the hot end. So let's let that hang there. Let's let it warm up. Let's get a pair of pliers because this is going to be warm and go from there. I'll be right back. All right, so I've let this warm up for a little bit. Now we're going to jump in here and we're going to pull out the filament. So if your nozzle is too hot for you to hold, 80 degrees is not much, you can use a pair of pliers. If not, hold on to it firmly so you don't pull any of the wires. And all you're going to do is you're going to pull that filament out, and that's what you're looking for. All right, I don't know if you bring this in close for you. And you're going to see as I, come on, focus. As I pulled it out, it created a nice long warm strand, and at the end should look like the tip of the nozzle inside in there. And the idea behind that is that you're just pulling out any contaminants that might be in there. Now, next up, let's get this reinserted. Like we talked about before, you're going to put it up in the hole, make sure it's all the way up and set, and push down. Make sure it doesn't move, and you're good to go. All right, let's cool this back down. And that's it. Let's go on to the next step. All right, really quick tip here. If you need to move your build plate up and down, don't turn the screws. Don't you know, do anything there. Tilt your printer back, reach underneath the front, and you're going to feel a belt. If you move that belt left or right, the bed's going to go up and down, and that's all you have to do. Do that and you're good to go. Keep the inside clean, wipe out anything out the bottom. What's really nice is they did put a nice little cutout here that it's like, what the heck is that for? Well, you can just take everything and wipe it out. I mean, sometimes it's the little things that are nice. Other than that, you're going to want to make sure you do regular maintenance, lubing the Z screws, cleaning your rail up here. This doesn't get lube. The Y does a little bit. And just making sure generally it's clean. My next quick tip, which is the poop chute. So come on here. Here's the poop chute. If you look, you zoom you in with some light. See that little metal thing? That right there is the poop chute. You know, takes the filament off the nozzle. This is only on here with double-sided tape. It pops off and on. If you find it, just put it back right there. Next, yours is going to look different. Mine is a 3D printed little scrubber, and it just slides on and off. And I like this better just because it scrubs the top of the nozzle off rather than the flat one that they have there. And all you do is you pull off that one. Try and do this blind. Get it lined up, push it on. Good to go. New scrubber. Now you do have to replace it because these little things come off. I got this off of AliExpress, and it's great. So I suggest that. Next quick tip here is you have your 4-filament hub, because you got the combo. If you didn't get the combo, you should have. This goes into this. This goes into this plug, and then this plug runs all the way up to your Ace Pro. Leave on your external. I mean, you can print a side one, which makes it easier, and a new filament hub that gives you all that. This is the basics. Leave it hooked up. I printed off a basket just to collect poop. My only thing is make sure you check it, because if you're doing a long print and this fills up, it's going to go up the chute and cause problems. So mine just slides on and off. Boom, boom. Got it off of Maker Online. And that's that. All right. Good morning. It's very early. I woke up at 3:45, made some coffee, came down here. I needed to put this outro together so I can get this video out the door today. It's Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving to you and your family from Doug Does Stuff and my family here. I hope you guys have a great day. Enjoy. What's your favorite food on Thanksgiving? Mine, I know people call me crazy. I like turkey and stuffing, but I do my turkey right. Like, it's not dry. Can't have dry turkey. No good. Anyway, listen, thanks for sticking with me throughout this entire video. It's been a long one. And if you've watched the whole thing, really, I do appreciate it. Watch time is critical. Really helps the channel, in so many ways. Leave a comment as well. Anything, hitting like, leaving comments, that helps us YouTubers here. YouTuber. I say YouTuber only because I hit 2,000 subscribers right before this. So thank you. Anyway, I hope that the video, as dysfunctional as it was, has really helped some people out there look at least a few things. There's so much more that we can do with this. 3D prints for the Ace Pro to help with tangling and the way the filament goes in. There's more 3D prints that you can print to, like, do a protector for the PTFE tube. There's 3D prints for the filament hub to add a 5th spool so you can use your external without having to take everything off. There's different poop chutes. There's this, that. There's Darren 3D. He made a riser that holds your Ace Pro up high. There's a ton out there. We've just touched on it. So I hope that this video has helped you in some way, whether it be from the quick tips there at the end, to installing wrinkles, to modifying the bed, whatever it was. So yeah, listen, it's a great printer. If you've got $429, I'm guessing probably a little bit less tomorrow on Black Friday to spend, and you want to get into 4-color, maybe 8-color printing, and you're not afraid to put in a little bit of work to level the bed if you need a bigger print, I say go for it. Once you get that bed level, everything from there is just tweaking settings. It's filament settings, it's print speed settings, it's that. And it's just regular 3D printing stuff, clogged nozzles, broken filament. I don't blame those on Anycubic, and I've given Anycubic a lot of crap over my videos, and really just about the bed. So I'm really hoping that the Kobra S1 Max Anycubic, if you're listening, willing to take one off your hands if you want. I really hope that they've done something with the bed and listened, and I hope that they open up the printer to Orca, and I hope they also show us the bed mesh without having to install wrinkles, because for some people that's going to be difficult. Other than that, I don't know. Have a good one. Thanks for staying, and I'll see you in the next video when we install the Funsor bed. wrinkles, we just touched on it just ever so slightly by adjusting the bed mesh. There's other adjustments that you can do in that file, changing the amperage so you get better extrusion on the extruder motor, tweaking the sensitivity of the strain gauge. Yeah, there's a lot. So